The rain hammered against the window like fists demanding entry, but it was Russell's voice that shattered the silence first. A raw, broken whisper that cut through the storm. "Casey, I think I'm in love with you." I froze, coffee mug slipping from my hand, shards scattering like my unraveling world, because my straight-as-an-arrow roommate had just confessed the one truth that could either save us or destroy everything we'd built in this cramped Brooklyn apartment. I remember the exact moment the storm hit, not just the weather outside, but the one brewing inside me for months. It was a Tuesday in late October, the kind of New York autumn where the leaves clung desperately to the trees before surrendering to the wind, mirroring how I'd been holding on to my secrets. Russell and I had been roommates for just over a year, thrown together by the cruel math of city living. Two broke 20-somethings splitting rent on a one-bedroom in Williamsburg that felt more like a closet with a view. He was the all-American jock type, broad shoulders from high school football, easy laugh that filled rooms, and a girlfriend rotation that made me both envious and exhausted. Me, Casey Harlan, the quiet graphic designer with a sketchbook full of unspoken desires and a heart that had learned early on to love from afar. That night, the power had flickered out around 8, leaving us in the glow of battery-powered lanterns and the relentless patter of rain. I'd been hunched over my laptop in the living room, finalizing a freelance logo for some startup that promised to revolutionize coffee, when Russell stumbled in from his shift at the gym. He was soaked through, his blonde hair plastered to his forehead, gym bag slung over one shoulder like a defeated soldier. "Dude, it's a monsoon out there," he grumbled, kicking off his sneakers with more force than necessary. Water pooled at his feet, and for a split second, I caught myself staring at the way his wet t-shirt clung to his chest. Ridiculous, I know, but old habits die hard. "Grab a towel, man," I said, trying to sound casual as I tossed him one from the couch. He caught it mid-air, flashing that grin that always disarmed me, the one with the dimple on his left cheek. "Thanks, Case. You're a lifesaver." He disappeared into the bathroom, and I heard the shower kick on, steam seeping under the door like a promise of warmth in the chill. I busied myself with cleanup, wiping down the counter where he'd dripped, but my mind wandered to the usual places. The way he'd slung an arm around my shoulders after a Knicks game last month, casual bro touch that lingered a beat too long, the late-night talks about his exes, where I'd nod sympathetically while biting back the ache of what-ifs. By the time he emerged, towel around his waist, steam following him like a halo, the power was still out. He rummaged in the fridge for a beer, the dim lantern light casting shadows that made his skin glow golden. "Wanna order pizza? My treat." Feels like one of those nights. His voice was lighter now, but there was an edge to it, a tightness around his eyes that I chalked up to the cold. We settled on the couch, knees almost touching in the cramped space, and waited for the delivery guy who never showed. Stuck in the flood, probably. Instead, we talked. Or rather, he talked, and I listened, like always. It started innocuous. Complaints about the new manager at the gym, a story about some client who'd mistaken him for a personal trainer instead of a front desk guy. But then it veered, as it often did with Russell, into the deeper waters. "You ever feel like you're just faking it?" he asked, staring at the beer label like it held the answers. I shifted, heart picking up speed. "Faking what?" "Everything. Life. Like, I'm 26, supposed to have my shit together, job, girl, future. But half the time, I don't even know who the hell I am." He took a long pull from the bottle, Adam's apple bobbing in a way that made my throat dry. I wanted to reach out, to tell him it was okay, that we were all imposters in this city of dreams and delusions. But I stayed silent, letting him fill the void. He went on, words tumbling out faster now, about growing up in Ohio, the pressure of being the golden boy, the quarterback who led the team to state finals, the son who never disappointed. Dad always said, "Russ, be a man. Stand tall." But what if standing tall means pretending? His laugh was bitter, echoing off the bare brick walls. The rain intensified, wind rattling the window panes like they might give way. I nodded, sharing a sanitized version of my own story. The kid from Philly who moved here chasing art school dreams, only to end up freelancing for corporations while hiding my truth from everyone but my sketchbook. As the night wore on, the conversation looped back to his latest breakup. Emily, the yoga instructor with the laugh like wind chimes. She said I was distant, like emotionally checked out. And she's right, Case. I am. But I don't know how to fix it. He leaned back, head lolling against the couch, eyes half closed. Vulnerability suited him, stripped away the bravado, left him raw and real. You're the only one who gets it, you know? No bullshit. Just you. My chest tightened. I'm here, man. Whatever you need. It was the truth, and it terrified me. Because what he needed, what I suspected he might need, was the one thing I could give, but the one thing that would shatter our fragile equilibrium. The storm peaked around midnight, thunder cracking like a whip. Russell stood abruptly, pacing to the window, pressing his palm against the glass as if he could hold back the flood. Lightning illuminated his silhouette, turning him into a statue of doubt. Casey, he said, voice barely audible over the roar. I think I'm in love with you. The words hung there, electric and impossible. My mug hit the floor, ceramic exploding in a starburst of white. Time fractured. The rain a deafening curtain, his back to me broad and unyielding, my pulse thundering louder than the storm. Straight Russell? The guy who'd high-fived me after coming out to him last spring. Supportive but distant, like it was a factoid about a friend of a friend? What? I managed, voice a croak. He didn't turn. I said, God, this is messed up. His shoulders shook, not with sobs, but with the effort of holding them in. It's been eating me alive. Every time you're around, it's like, I can't breathe right. But I'm not. I mean, I thought I was straight. Emily, Sarah, all of them, they were safe. But you're not safe. You're everything. I rose on numb legs, shards crunching underfoot, and crossed to him. The window was fogged, the city a blurred watercolor of lights and shadows. Russ, look at me, he did, slowly, eyes stormy as the night outside. In them, I saw the boy from Ohio, lost and reaching, and the man he'd become, brave enough to name the unnamed. This doesn't have to change anything, I lied, because it already had. The air between us crackled, not with thunder, but with possibility. But oh, how it would change everything. We didn't kiss that night. No dramatic embrace against the rain-lashed glass. Instead, we cleaned up the mess, literal and figurative, sweeping shards into the dustpan while he backpedaled, half laughing at his own confession. Blame the storm, man. Makes people say stupid shit. I played along, heart pounding, But the seed was planted. In the days that followed, the apartment felt smaller, charged with unspoken glances over morning coffee, brushes of hands in the kitchen that lingered. Russell threw himself into work, picking up extra shifts, while I buried myself in deadlines, sketching his profile in secret margins. A week later, the power was back, but the blackout lingered in us. He invited me to a bar in the East Village. Just bros, with craft beers and a jukebox playing Springsteen. Midway through our second round, under the neon glow of a Miller sign, he admitted it again, not in whispers, but steady, like a vow. I'm serious, Case. About what I said. His hand found mine under the table, calluses rough from weights, thumb tracing a circle that sent sparks up my arm. Scared the hell out of me. Still does. But I can't pretend anymore. I searched his face for the punchline, the retreat, but there was none. Just earnest blue eyes, the kind that could anchor a man in a sea of uncertainty. What now? I asked, voice thick. Now, we figure it out. Together, and in that moment, with the bar's hum fading to background noise, I believed him, believed in us. Little did I know, figuring it out would mean facing down the ghosts of who we'd been, and the betrayal that would test if we could become who we were meant to be. November swept in with a crisp bite, turning the streets into a mosaic of fallen leaves and hurried coats. Russell and I navigated our new reality like tightrope walkers, one tentative step at a time. Mornings started the same, him brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead, me scrolling through emails at the kitchen table, but now there were stolen moments. His fingers grazing my neck as he reached for the sugar, a quiet good morning that held layers of meaning. We didn't label it, didn't rush. It was enough to wake up to his presence, to feel the shift from solitary ache to shared warmth. He told his family over Thanksgiving break, a video call from his childhood home in Cleveland. I hovered in the bedroom, pretending to work, but eavesdropped on the snippets. His mom's hesitant, "Oh, honey." His dad's long pause before the gruff, "As long as you're happy, son." Russell emerged pale but unbowed, collapsing onto the bed with a sigh. It's out there now. No taking it back. I sat beside him, our thighs pressing together, and for the first time, he let me hold him, not as a friend, but as something more. His head on my shoulder, breath steadying against my collarbone. Thanks for being my rock, Case. You're welcome, I murmured, inhaling the scent of his shampoo, clean, like pine after rain. That night, we cooked a makeshift feast. Turkey from the corner deli, mashed potatoes from a box, and pie that tasted like cardboard but felt like home. We laughed over burnt edges, clinked forks, and when he leaned across the table to wipe cranberry from my lip, the world narrowed to that touch. Soft, exploratory kisses followed in the dim light, tasting of wine and wonder. Not urgent, but reverent, like discovering a language we'd both known but never spoken. Word spread slowly in our circles. My best friend, Mia, a fiery photographer from art school, squealed over brunch at a Bushwick cafe, hugging me so hard my ribs ached. Finally, you two are adorable. Like, disgustingly so. Russell's gym buddies were trickier. A couple ribbed him with bromance jokes that landed like punches, but most just shrugged. New Yorkers too jaded for scandal. Still, the whispers followed us. Sidelong glances at the bodega, a coworker's awkward congrats, email. It was exhilarating and exhausting, this public unmasking. But beneath the honeymoon haze, cracks formed. Russell's ex, Emily, reached out via text one gray afternoon. Heard the news. Happy for you. The subtext stung, pity wrapped in politeness. He showed me the message, jaw tight. She thinks I'm confused. Like this is a phase. I pulled him close in the hallway, our coats still on from a walk in Prospect Park. It's not. You're not. He nodded, but doubt flickered in his eyes, a shadow that would grow. Winter deepened, blanketing the city in snow that muffled sounds and amplified silences. We decorated the apartment on a whim, string lights draped over the fire escape, a scrawny tree from a lot on Bedford Avenue. Russell hung ornaments with the focus of a man building a foundation, each one a talisman against uncertainty. First Christmas together, he said, stringing tinsel with care. I watched from the couch, sketchpad in lap, capturing the curve of his smile, the way snowflakes dusted his lashes through the window. That holiday, we escaped to my parents' place upstate, a creaky Victorian in the Hudson Valley where the air smelled of wood smoke and nostalgia. Mom, ever the liberal arts professor, enveloped us in hugs and herbal tea, her eyes twinkling with I knew it pride. Dad, a retired mechanic with grease-stained hands, clapped Russell on the back and muttered, "Treat him right, kid." It was idyllic. Almost too much, the fireside talks, sledding down the hill like kids, nights tangled in flannel sheets under a quilt older than us. But on Christmas Eve, as carols played softly on the radio, Russell confessed a fear over mulled wine. What if I screw this up? I'm new at this, at us. I cupped his face, thumbs tracing jawline. We both are. That's the point. We learn. Our kiss by the tree was slow, ornaments glinting like stars, and for a heartbeat, the world felt conquerable. Back in the city, reality reasserted itself. January brought a brutal cold snap, and with it, opportunity or temptation. Russell's old college buddy, Jake, blew into town for a finance conference, all slick suits and Wall Street swagger. Russ, man, it's been forever. They met for drinks at a midtown lounge, the kind with leather booths and overpriced scotch. I tagged along, but felt like the third wheel, Jake's stories of frat parties and conquests painting Russell in a past tense light. Remember that sorority formal? You were unstoppable. Russell laughed, but it was forced, his hand finding mine under the table, a silent anchor. Later, walking home through slushy streets, he vented. Jake's still living that life. Thinks I'm going through a experimental phase. The words landed heavy, stirring my own insecurities. Was I his experiment? The safe harbor before he sailed back to familiar shores? I pushed it down, buried it under date nights, ice skating at Bryant Park, where he spun me dizzy with laughter, poetry readings in the village, his head on my shoulder as verses wove through the air. But the doubts festered. One night, after a shift that ran late, I came home to find him on the couch, scrolling through old photos on his phone. Emily's face flashed, beaming, carefree. He slammed the screen down when I entered. Just memories. Bad ones? I asked, shedding my coat. He hesitated. Not bad. Just different. The unspoken hung. Simpler, perhaps. Straighter. We made love that night. Tender, unhurried, bodies mapping new territories. But as he slept beside me, arm draped possessively, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines. February arrived with Valentine's Day looming, a holiday I'd always mocked but now approached with butterflies. Russell planned a surprise. Tickets to a Broadway show. Rent, the irony not lost on us. Dressed up, me in a button-down that hugged my frame, him in slacks that accentuated his build. We held hands down the aisle, ignoring the occasional stare. The music swelled, stories of love amid chaos mirroring our own. And during intermission, he pulled me into a shadowed alcove. "I love you, Casey. For real. No phases, no doubts." Tears pricked my eyes. "I love you too." The kiss that followed was fierce, a declaration amid the theater's hum. But love, as I'd learn, is a fragile bloom in winter's grip. Jake texted Russell the next week. "In town longer. Let's grab dinner, catch up proper." Russell agreed. "Just one night," waving off my unease. "He's an old friend, Case." "Nothing more." I nodded, but the knot in my gut tightened. That evening, as he dressed, collar popped just so, I sketched furiously, lines sharp with anxiety. "Have fun," I called as he left, the door clicking like a countdown. He returned late, smelling of bourbon and regret, collapsing into my arms. "Jake's pushing. Says I need to think this through, like you're a detour." His voice cracked, and I held him tighter, whispering assurances. But seeds of betrayal had taken root, invisible tendrils wrapping around our foundation. Spring teased with early warmth, but our winter lingered in the chill between us. I threw myself into work, landing a contract with a queer nonprofit, designing posters for pride that screamed visibility. Russell cheered me on, but his shifts stretched longer, excuses piling like snowdrifts. "Overtime pays the rent," he'd say, kissing my forehead before vanishing into the night. One April evening, after a particularly grueling day of revisions, I found a note on the fridge: "Gym emergency. Home late. Love. R. Emergency." My mind raced to Jake, still lingering in the city on business. Paranoia, I told myself, but I couldn't shake it. I wandered the apartment, touching his jacket, his mug, relics of our life. Hours ticked by, midnight came and went. At 2 a.m., the door creaked open. Russell slipped in, disheveled, eyes red-rimmed. "Case, you're up. Where were you?" The words escaped sharper than intended. He winced. "Jake." He was drunk, needed a ride home. Crashed at his hotel, nothing happened, but his voice wavered, and when he reached for me, I stepped back. "Nothing? Then why do you look like hell?" Accusation laced my tone, years of guarded heart spilling over. He sank onto the bed, head in hands. He kissed me. Or tried to. I stopped him, but... God, Case, it messed with my head. The admission landed like a slap. Not betrayal of body, but of spirit, a crack in his resolve that mirrored my deepest fear. We talked till dawn, words raw and ragged. "I'm yours," he insisted, tears streaking his face. But part of me wonders if I'm broken. If I can do this. I forgave him, because what choice did I have? Love isn't logical. It's a leap. Yet the fracture remained, a hairline that would widen into chasm. May bloomed with dogwoods and denial, the city pulsing back to life as we pretended our fault lines were mere scratches. Russell doubled down on us, surprise picnics in Central Park, where he'd pack PB and JS and bad poetry he'd scribbled on napkins, weekend hikes upstate, hands clasped on rocky trails, wind-whipping confessions from our lips. "You're my North Star, Case," he'd say, pulling me close at overlooks, the Hudson sprawling below like a vein of silver. I believed him, or wanted to, letting the sun warm the chill Jake had left. But betrayal simmers, doesn't it? Not always in grand gestures, but in quiet erosions. One evening, thumbing through mail, I found it. A crumpled envelope from Emily, postmarked Ohio. No return address, but her handwriting looped across the front. For Russ. Please read. Curiosity or Jealousy 1. I steamed it open in the bathroom, heart hammering like a thief. Her words spilled out in neat cursive. Regret for the breakup, confusion over the news, a plea to talk. I miss you, Russ. The real you. Not this confusion you're chasing. Come home. We can fix us. Fix us. As if our love were a glitch, a detour from destiny. I resealed it, hands shaking, and left it on his gym bag. When he read it that night, face paling under the kitchen light, he crumpled it without a word. You okay? I asked, stirring pasta sauce to mask my turmoil. Yeah. Just noise. He tossed it in the trash, but the echo lingered. That week, he was distant, snapping at small things, like the way I left sketches on the table. Clutter. Case. Can't think straight. I bit my tongue, attributing it to stress. But sleep evaded me, dreams tangled with Emily's ghost. Pride Month arrived like a carnival, rainbows unfurling across the skyline. We marched in the parade, arm in arm amid floats and feathers, the roar of cheers a bomb. Russell, in a tank that showed off his ink, a small compass on his bicep, added post-confession, waved a flag with boyish glee. This is us, he shouted over the bass, and for those hours, it was unapologetic, alive. At the after-party in a Chelsea loft, we danced sweat-slick under strobe lights, bodies sinking like they'd been made for it. Strangers bought us shots. Mia snapped photos, capturing his hand on my waist, my head thrown back in laughter. But euphoria fades. Back home, buzzed and boneless, he pulled away when I reached for him. Tired, he mumbled, rolling over. Rejection stung, a needle prick in the vein of joy. What's going on? Russ. I pressed the next morning, sunlight slanting through blinds like accusatory fingers. He rubbed his temples. It's nothing. Parade high, you know, but his eyes dodged mine, and doubt crept in anew. The climax built slowly, a summer storm gathering force. June sweltered, air thick as unspoken words. Russell's shifts eased, but he filled evenings with solo runs along the East River, returning flushed and evasive. I confronted him after one, sweat cooling on his skin as he chugged water in the kitchen. Is it Emily or Jake? Talk to me. He set the bottle down hard. Jesus, Case, not everything's a conspiracy. Anger flashed, defensive, then deflated into sigh. Okay. Yeah. Emily called. Said she's coming to the city job interview. Wants to meet. As friends. Friends. The word tasted bitter. And you said, I don't know. Part of me, Wants closure. To prove I'm over it. His gaze pleaded for understanding, but all I saw was the boy from Ohio, torn between worlds. Go, I said, voice steady despite the quake inside. But come back to me, he did, that night after coffee with her at a neutral spot, a chain cafe in Midtown. It was awkward, he reported, sliding into bed beside me. She cried. Said she still loves me. But I told her it's you. Always. Relief flooded me, and we made amends with touches that erased the distance. Bodies affirming what words sometimes failed. Yet trust, once chipped, doesn't mend seamlessly. July's heat wave amplified everything. Arguments over air conditioning bills, silences heavy as humidity. I landed a big client, a book cover for a coming-out memoir, and poured my soul into it. Late nights at the drafting table. Russell supported from afar, but his texts grew sporadic. Jim. Talk later. One scorching afternoon, Mia dragged me to Coney Island for respite, boardwalk breezes, Nathan's hot dogs, the cyclone's screams. He's pulling away, I confessed over cotton candy, the ocean a restless mirror. She squeezed my hand. Or he's scared. New love's terrifying, especially for him. Wise words, but they didn't soothe the gnaw. The breaking point came mid-July, 4th of fireworks and fractures. We'd planned a rooftop party with friends, grill smoke, beers, the skyline exploding in red, white, blue. Russell was late, texting traffic from Jake's farewell dinner. Jake, leaving for London. One last hurrah. I paced the tarred roof, skyline glittering mockingly, as Mia manned the burgers. When he arrived, tie loosened, breath whiskey sharp, I pulled him aside behind the AC unit. Fun night. Yeah. Great. But his smile didn't reach his eyes. We mingled, his arm around me for show, but tension coiled like the humid air. Fireworks burst at 10, oohs and ahs rising with the booms. In the staccato light, I saw it, a text lighting his phone, Emily's name flashing. He silenced it quick, but too late. What the hell? Russ. Not now, he hissed, but the damage bloomed. Accusations flew in whispers amid the chaos. Her calls, his secrecy, Jake's influence. You're not committed, I accused, tears hot on my cheeks. You're half in, half out. He grabbed my arm, fireworks reflecting in his eyes like falling stars. That's not fair. I'm trying, God. Case, you think this is easy? Hurt mirrored hurt, and in the pyrotechnic glare, he shouted what I dreaded. Maybe I am confused. Maybe this was a mistake. The words detonated, louder than any rocket. I wrenched free, storming down the stairs, the party a blur of concerned faces. Mia followed, but I waved her off, hailing a cab through tears. Back in the apartment, our apartment, I packed a bag, heart splintering. Where to go? Mia's couch. Indefinitely. Russell burst in an hour later, face streaked with rain or sweat. Casey. Wait. Please. He blocked the door, desperation etching lines I'd never seen. I didn't mean it. The heat, the booze, it's all bullshit. I love you. Then why her? Why the lies? My voice broke, bag slipping from shoulder. He sank to his knees, uncharacteristic vulnerability cracking him open. Because I'm scared. Scared I'll lose you, so I cling to the old me, the straight guy who had it figured out. But that's the lie. You're my truth, Sobs racked him, and against better judgment, I knelt too, our foreheads touching in the lamplight. Forgive me. Let me prove it. We cried together, the storm breaking, but the flood had already reshaped the landscape. That night, we didn't sleep, talked till dawn, excavating fears. His terror of disappointing his family, my wound from past rejections. Dawn painted the room gold, and in it, we vowed renewal. No more ghosts. August simmered with tentative mending. Couples therapy, suggested by Mia, embraced by us. A neutral space in a Soho office where a soft-spoken counselor named Theo unpacked our baggage. Betrayal isn't just action, Theo said. It's the fear behind it. Russell nodded, squeezing my hand. I exhaled, feeling seen. We traveled north for a weekend, a cabin in the Catskills where cell service faltered and stars blanketed the sky. Hiking mossy paths, we shed city skins, him chopping wood with primal focus, me sketching the lake's ripple. Evenings by the fire, stories flowed, his first crush on a teammate, buried deep, my art school heartbreaks, sketches turned talismans. One night, under a meteor shower, he proposed not marriage, but commitment. Be my partner, Case. In all of it, the ring was simple silver, engraved with a compass rose. I slipped it on, tears salting the moment. Fall crept back, leaves turning like pages. September brought stability, Russell interviewing for a trainer position, me pitching a graphic novel idea born from our story. But peace is prelude, often, to deeper trials. Emily's shadow lengthened. She landed the job in Manhattan. Fate, she texted him. Polite declines followed, but her presence loomed, a reminder of paths not taken. October circled us to the anniversary of that stormy confession. We recreated it, rain machine from a party store, lanterns flickering. I love you, he whispered by the window, and this time, belief anchored me. Yet fate, that capricious editor, had one more revision. November's chill nipped at our heels, but we ran toward warmth, Thanksgiving at my parents' again, this time with Russell's folks joining via train. Olive branch extended. The dinner was a tapestry of tensions. His mom's probing questions over pie. So, Casey, what do you do exactly? Met with my steady answers. His dad's awkward toasts. Clinking glasses with a gruff, to new beginnings. Under the table, Russell's knee pressed mine. A Morse code of solidarity. Later, by the fireplace, his dad pulled him aside for man talk, emerging with Russell's eyes bright. He said he's proud. Me, proud of me. The words unlocked something. We drove back to the city wrapped in quiet joy, hands intertwined over the console. December twinkled with possibility. Our first shared holidays intentional, not salvaged. We strung lights on the fire escape, the glow casting halos on passers-by below. Russell, ever the athlete, wrestled the tree up the stairs solo, needles shedding like confetti. Tradition, he grinned, hanging our first ornament, 2 intertwined silver rings, a nod to his proposal. But joy's underbelly is fragility. Emily's integration into the city wove her into our periphery. A mutual friend's holiday party invite, unavoidable. We'll go together, Russell assured. Show the world. The night was velvet-draped glamour in a Tribeca loft, champagne flutes clinking like chimes. She arrived fashionably late, elegant in emerald silk, her smile a blade sheathed in politeness. Casey, right? Russ speaks so highly. Her handshake was cool, eyes appraising. We mingled, but tension threaded the air. When she cornered him by the bar, just catching up, I watched from across the room, heart in throat. Their heads bent close, laughter tinkling like ice. Jealousy flared, irrational but insistent. Mia, sensing, looped an arm through mine. Breathe. He's yours. He returned with fresh drinks, face flushed. Old stories. Nothing, but the seed of doubt sprouted anew. That night, in bed, I pressed, what did she want? Closure. Really. Says she's seeing someone, moving on. Relief, but laced with unease. Her presence felt like a bookmark in a story we'd closed. New Year's Eve dawned crisp, resolutions whispering. We hosted a small gathering, Mia and her girlfriend, a couple from my freelance circle, balloons bobbing, countdown clock ticking. As Auld Lang Syne swelled, Russell pulled me onto the fire escape, city erupting below. To us, he toasted with plastic flutes, lips brushing mine amid cheers. Fireworks painted us in bursts of color, and in that pyrotechnic promise, I forgot the shadows. January's resolutions held, gym dates where he'd spot my awkward lifts, laughing, art walks in Chelsea galleries, his hand warm in mine. But February brought frost, not weather, but fracture. A letter arrived for Russell, forwarded from Ohio. His grandmother's passing, sudden and silent. We flew home for the funeral, the Midwest flat and unforgiving under gray skies. His family enveloped him in hugs and casseroles, but grief hollowed his cheeks. At the graveside, rain-slick earth swallowing the casket, he gripped my hand like a lifeline. She knew about us, he whispered. Said love's love. Back in New York, mourning morphed into melancholy. He withdrew, runs turning to marathons, silences stretching. Give me space, he pleaded one night, voice raw. I did, but space echoes with absence. Mia noticed over coffee. You're fading, Case. Don't let his grief eclipse you. March thawed the ground but not his heart. Emily resurfaced, not aggressively, but persistently, a sympathy card, then coffee invites as friends. He declined, but each ping eroded. One stormy evening, mirroring our beginning, I found him at the window again, phone in hand. Her again, he nodded, defeated. She says she gets it now. Wants to apologize in person. The air thickened, thunder rumbling distant. Go if you need to. But decide, Russ. Us or the echo. He chose us, or so he said, deleting her number with theatrical flourish. Done. For good. We celebrated with takeout and a movie, bodies curling close. But trust, that delicate weave, frayed further. April bloomed treacherous. Pride planning consumed me, volunteering for the nonprofit, posters plastered across subways. Russell joined a float committee, his enthusiasm a spark. But at a planning meeting in a West Village community center, Emily appeared, volunteering too, giving back. Coincidence? Her eyes met mine across the folding tables, a silent challenge. The meeting dragged, her suggestions sharp, Russell's nods polite. Afterward, as we walked home through cherry blossoms, I erupted. She's stalking you. Us. Case. His pride. Everyone's involved, but doubt creased his brow. That night, Argument escalated. Voices rising over the hum of the fridge. Accusations flying like shrapnel. "You're flirting with the past," I yelled. "And you're paranoid," he shot back. Doors slammed. I crashed at Mia's, bag thumping like a heartbeat. He called at dawn. Voice wrecked. "Come home. Please." I did. Finding roses wilted on the table. His note, "I choose you." Every time, forgiveness flowed, but resentment pooled beneath. May's warmth coaxed us outward. A road trip to the Finger Lakes. Windows down. Playlist shuffling Springsteen and Hozier. Vineyards rolled golden. Wine tastings loosening tongues. At a lakeside B&B. Sunset gilding the water. He dropped to one knee, not proposal, but plea. "Marry me." Case. "Make it official." The ring, gold now, etched with coordinates of our window, slipped on trembling finger. Joy surged, pure and piercing. But June's solstice brought solstice shadows. Emily's apology meeting happened. A neutral park bench, supervised by mutual friends. He returned ashen. She kissed my cheek. Said goodbye. The casual intimacy gnawed. July's heat mirrored the boil. Jake emailed from London. "Miss the old crew. Visit soon." Russell archived it, but the pull tugged. Arguments reignited. Therapy sessions straining under the weight. Theo warned, "Unresolved betrayal festers. Face it head on." We did. One sweltering night, sweat slick on the sheets. "I need to know you're all in," I demanded, voice breaking. "I am," he vowed, tears mingling. "But I need you to trust." Trust. The word mocked as August arrived, humid and heavy. A work trip for me, LA for a design conference, left him alone. Texts flowed. "Miss you. Love this city without you." But on day 3, a photo pinged from Mia. Russell at a bar. Emily beside him, arms linked in a group shot. Caption: "Old friends reunion. Rage blinded." Called. Accusations spilling. "Liar." Again. It's nothing, group hang, but his defensiveness confirmed the fracture. I hung up. Flight home a blur of fury. Confrontation exploded in the airport cab. Bag slamming. Voices shattering the humid night. "You can't let go," I roared. "And you can't forgive," he countered. In the melee, truth erupted. I slept with her. Case. Once. After Grandma. I was lost. The admission gutted me. World tilting. Betrayal. Full and final, not a kiss, but consummation. When? February. I ended it. Swore it was over. Sobs choked him, but pain armored me. Get out. The words were ice. Door slamming final. He left, duffel in hand, rain starting anew. Alone, I curled on the floor, shards of our life ring-tossed in trash, cutting deep. Weeks blurred. Mia's couch, work a numb haze. He texted, "Please, forgive me. I love you." I blocked, heart cauterized. September's equinox equaled us, day and night warring. Pride posters mocked from walls, our float a ghost. Therapy solo now. Theo's voice echo. Healing starts with choice. I chose survival. October stripped the trees bare, mirroring my soul's deforestation. The apartment echoed with absence. His coffee mug in the sink a relic. The fire escape lights unstrung like abandoned hopes. Mia staged interventions. brunches where I poked at eggs, sketching absent-mindedly, lines jagged as grief. "He's a fool," she declared. "But you're not. Move on." Moving on, easier preached than practiced. Freelance dried up. Inspiration fled. I wandered Brooklyn's streets, leaf-choked paths whispering what-ifs. At the window, that cursed portal, I replayed confessions, his palm print a ghost on glass. Why? The question looped. Betrayal's refrain. Russell's attempts pierced the silence. Flowers at my door. Voicemails raw. Case. "I'm broken without you." I deleted, but fragments lingered. A masochistic litany. Emily? I stalked her LinkedIn promoted. Glowing. Hating her poise. Envying her claim on him. November's chill deepened isolation. Thanksgiving alone. Takeout turkey. TV static. A call from my mom. "Come home. Honey." Tempted, but pride anchored me. New York was my battlefield. I'd not retreat. December twinkled traitorously. Holiday markets bustled, lights mocking my dark. At a work party, forced cheer in a midtown hotel, I drank too much eggnog, spilling to a colleague. He cheated. With her, sympathy flowed, but hollow. Stumbling home, snowflakes stinging, I found him on the stoop, bundled, breath clouding. "Go away," I slurred. He's fumbling. "Please." 5 minutes. Desperation etched him. Thinner, eyes hollowed. I relented, door cracking like resolve. Inside, steam from cocoa I didn't offer. "What?" "I'm sorry." Not excuses, pure, gut-wrenching sorry. Words poured. Grief's abyss after his grandma. Emily's comfort. Regret's immediate claw. It was weakness, not want. I chose wrong. Lost right. Pain cracked my armor. "You destroyed us." "I know," he wept, unashamed. "But I fight for us." Therapy. Alone. Reading books on betrayal. Rebuilding. I'm better. Case. For you. I wanted to believe God. Did I? But scars suppurate. Leave. Heal yourself first. He did. Silhouette vanishing into flurry. January's resolutions rang false. Mine. Survive. February's frost bit deepest. Valentine's. Mia's girls' night. Laughter forced. Package arrived, our compass ring. Polished. Note. When ready. I hurled it. Then retrieved. Tracing engravings like braille of loss. March thawed tentatively. Spring stirrings. Daffodils pushing concrete. My sketches softening. A new client, queer lit mag, reignited fire. Pages filled. Stories of love's ruins. Beauty in breakage. April's rains cleansed. I ran them, pounding pavement, breath sinking with drops. At the river, horizon vast. Clarity dawned. Forgiveness isn't absolution. It's release. May bloomed forgiveness's bud. Russell's paths crossed mine. Jim sighting. Nod exchanged. No words, but thaw. Pride approached. I volunteered solo. Floats a bittersweet parade. June's solstice warmed. A coffee shop collision, him. Latte in hand. Me buried in book. Hey, tentative smile. Hey, pulse raced. Look. Dinner? No pressure. Eyes pleaded. Changed. Steady. Scarred. I nodded. Neutral Italian. Candles flickering. Talk flowed cautious, his therapy breakthroughs, my art search. Laughter crept, tentative bridge. July's heat tested. Dates multiplied, picnics, movies, hands brushing, not holding. Betrayal's ghost hovered, but dialogue exorcised. I trust building slow, I said. August's languor lulled. A weekend away, Cape Cod, borrowed beach house. Waves crashed confessions. Under stars, he asked, second chance. Heart trembled. Yes, but equals. No echoes. September equaled growth. We moved, new apartment, larger, light flooded in Greenpoint. Unpacking boxes unearthed memories. His jersey, my sketchbook. We laughed over them, past tamed. October circled anniversary. Storm brewed. We watched from new window, palms pressed glass. 1 year, he murmured. From truth, I leaned in, kiss soft, homecoming. November's gratitude bloomed full. Family merged, his folks visiting, dinners blending accents and anecdotes. His dad clapped my back, good man, tears pricked. December sparkled authentic. Tree trimmed together, ornaments laden with now. New Year's, fire escape renewed, countdown hours. To us, flutes clinked, lips met, city applauding. January's vows solidified. Therapy joint now, weaving tighter. February's love lettered, cards exchanged, heartfelt scrawls. March's renewal rooted. Garden plot on roof, tomatoes, basil, hands in soil, futures planted. April's showers nourished. Emily faded, married, posted bliss. We toasted her closure, our opening. May's flowers flourished. Pride march tandem, flags waving victory. June's light lengthened. Proposal redux, knee in park, ring upgraded. Forever, forever, July's fire tempered. Jake visited, awkward bro hug, acceptance grudging but given. August's ease enveloped. Vacations whispered, road trip west, September's harvest reaped. Art show, my graphics, his photos debuted, us framed. October's cycle closed, opened. Window vigil, love you more. Yet humanism whispers, perfection's myth. Doubts flicker, nights he starts at dreams, days I guard heart. But we face, together, flaws woven into strength. Climaxes echo, that betrayals forge, hammering weakness to resilience. Not unbroken, but mended gold kintsugi scars. November's hearth warmed deeper bonds. Thanksgiving potluck. Families fused. Tables groaning under turkey and tamales. Toasts rang. His mom's to love's quiet revolutions. My dad's to standing tall. Laughter bridged gaps. Russell's hand in mine under linen. Anchor eternal. December's magic multiplied. Holidays hybrid, Ohio trek. Then Hudson Valley blizzards bonding. Sledding scars healed with cocoa confessions. Back home, lights labyrinth, fire escape fairy tale, snow globe city. New Year's dawn, resolutions refined, grow, together, fireworks finale, but ours internal vows whispered, rings glinting. January's introspection, journals joint, pages paired, dreams diagrammed, fears footnoted. Therapy triumphs. Your architects now, Theo beamed. February's flame. Anniversary intimate, Broadway Redux, Rent Encore, Tears Tuned to Joy, Post-Show Supper, Secrets Shared, Scars Stories, March's Momentum, Moves Monumental. My novel pitched, his certification clinched. Trainer Now, Jim his canvas bodies built, Spirits 2. April's Awakening, Emily's Wedding Invite, polite decline, but peace proffered. She's her path, he said, ours intertwined. May's Melody, Pride Pinnacle, our float featured, photos framed. March magnified, megaphone messages, love wins, messy and true. June's Jubilee, engagement etched, rings resized, invites imagined. Solstice Sail, Hudson Cruise, stars scripting futures. July's Journey, westbound wheels, Route 66 echoes, canyons carving catharsis. Motels mundane, magic mind, desert dawns, his head on shoulder. August's Anchor, return rooted, apartment adorned, garden glory. Tomatoes triumphant, salads sung over. September's Synthesis, show success, gallery glow, critics kind. Us unveiled, portraits paired, his lens on my lines. October's Ode, storm symphony, rain ritual, window witness. From here, he traced pain, to everywhere. November's narrative, thanks woven letters to selves, past praised. Families festive, fusions flawless. December's denouement, holidays hallowed, tree testament, baubles bearing battles won. New Year's nexus, to chapters closed, canvases open, yet life's litany lingers. Doubt's distant drum, night's nostalgia nips, day's decisions daunt. Career crossroads, my book buzz, his business branch, we deliberate, duo undaunted. Betrayal's bequest, wisdom's well, trust tentative, but tended. Forgiveness's forge, not forget, but forward. Humanism's hymn, love's not linear, labyrinth, luminous. We wander, wondering, but together flawed fellowship. One evening, fire crackling, he sketches me, amateur strokes, affection ample. Beautiful, he breathes. To capture him, lines loving, legacy. Eternal, window watches, city ceaseless, us ceaselessly changed. From straight roommates' plea to partners' pact, admissions alchemy. Hook's echo, rain recedes, but revelation remains. Changed forever? Yes, better, braver, bound. In America's vast vignette, Brooklyn's beat to Canyon's call, we claim our claws. Love's loud, lovely liberty. Epilogue whispers, years yarn vows voiced, valley valleyed, victories vast. Children, chosen, perhaps, nieces, nephews, or more. But core constant, us, unyielding. Final frame, window, winter's white. His voice, velvet, still in love, mine, mirrored, always. Fade to light, human heart's horizon, endless.